Welcome back. We're going to pick up where we left off in the last episode, and what I'm doing right now is I'm trimming that edge of the fiberglass cloth and the epoxy, and it simply is just simply going along and sanding it. I'm actually giving it a little bit rounding a little bit so it have a nice soft edge. Why I'm working on this now is we're going to work on the hatch cover today, and I want to have this prepared so that when I have a little extra epoxy left over, I can put a fill coat on the top of that. So I'm going to finish sanding this up, blending some of the lap joints and getting any little imperfections out of there. Now here's an example where I had two pieces overlap. Now, one of the comments asked how far I overlapped it, and it looks like it was really about 3/4 of an inch or so. So what I want to do is just kind of blend this together and get it so that it's smooth to my touch. So I can still feel it in there. That's pretty smooth now. Now, some of you may think, well, you're sanding into the fiberglass, and indeed I was. But remember, it's doubled right here. So I'm not too worried about that. But right now, it's like, though you can still see it a little bit, it's smooth to my touch. So that'll fill in quite nicely. You can see right here, there is a little brush hair that's in there. So that's some of the things they want to sand out, which doesn't take very much at all to get rid of it. That feels pretty good. Well, now that I've got that finished up, now we can turn our attention back here to the aft hatch. The aft hatch is made up of 4 parts, the first being the hatch cover. The second part is the hatch sill. The other 2 parts are the hatch stiffener and the hatch rim. I began by removing the hatch stiffener and the hatch rim. The wider outer ring is not needed and is only there to aid in the production of the parts. With a little hand sanding, I got all of the parts cleaned up. This is how the hatch rim fits on the hatch sill. I measured to center the hatch sill in the opening. Turned out to be 1.5 inches all around. I then scribed a line so as to register it properly when I was gluing it. Mixing up a small batch of epoxy here. Get it well mixed. And then I'm going to put a little bit of wood flour in it, which I have right here, just to thicken it a little bit. The reason being is I'm expecting just a little bit of squeeze out that I can make as a fillet around the edge there. Oh, that's much better consistency, so it won't drip off my stir stick very readily. So it's just about what I'm looking for, kind of a runny peanut butter. I'm going to use like these little, what are called acid brushes. Now, because I scribed that, I can see right where I need to go to with my epoxy. And just go right up to the line. Over here so I don't drip it on the deck. Now the part actually comes with a couple little registration holes that are also here in the deck. So this could have been installed before I put the fill coat on the top and use those little wires to register it. I didn't do that, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Okay, now wood flour out of there. Also, so you put plastic in here so not to drip on the interior of the hull. Start getting that close. Take one of my stir sticks and flatten it and then sharpen it so that I have a little spatula here that I can clean that epoxy up. Well, it's always a good idea to have a variety of clamps available. Those spring clamps, the handles were getting in the way of each other. So these bar clamps work really well. So while this is setting up, we'll work on getting the hatch lid stiffeners glued to it. In preparation to glue the hatch stiffeners on the back of the hatch cover, I sanded it really well so the epoxy would have some tooth to stick to. So I got the bottom side of the hatch all sanded now. One of the issues that I have is, I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but it's warped like this. So maybe I'll show you this way. See, it's warped that way. So what I need to do is to get it flattened. So the first thing, and that's probably, most likely it's what these hatch stiffeners are for, and there's two of them here, mainly the second one is the color of the same kind of wood. So what my plan is to use my manning bench here because I can get clamps from both sides, and basically what I'm going to do is put a block on here and then clamp that down like so, and hopefully that will straighten it out. So the first thing I want to do is, well, first is I want to get it all cleaned off with some denatured alcohol. And then I need to position this on there. My measure, there we go. So that it is the same distance. So I come in 1 3/4 from both sides and from the ends. That right there. So I'll mark that out so I'll know where to position this. So now it's just a matter of mixing up some epoxy and getting that epoxy together. I've got a little epoxy mixed up here. So first of all, I'm going to coat the inside for the two mating surfaces of the stiffener. It's an extremely hot day here today, so I'm having to really kind of work quick. Even with slow hardener, it's really going off on me quickly. I think it's probably about 93 degrees right now. Okay, now put these two together. That. And spill a little bit right here. Make sure that I don't have it on the outer lip. And then we'll get it on here. I'm going to kind of go up to the line, but not quite to it. Hoping for a little squeeze out that'll happen. Now, I can also put a little bit, at least around the edges on this. Just a really kind of a penetrating coat, if you will. And I'll know that they're all going to be glued properly. Okay. Now, now, I've got this block I'm going to put on here to even out the pressure. Sure I can see the line all the way around. There. Putting down some plastic so that it won't glue my clamp to the project. That would not be a good idea. Okay, you can see to get this end one I used a bar clamp. So once again, it's a good idea to have a variety of clamps that are all different sizes and shapes. So what I'm going to do now is just wipe off the extra that's I think I've got all the squeeze out cleaned up now. A little more of an inspection, make sure. Yeah, okay. We'll let this cure overnight and we'll get back to it in the morning. Well, that did the trick. Nice and flat now. So get the other clamps off. So it came out pretty good. There's a little bit of well, cleanup I need to do. I can use a very sharp chisel here and just scrape. That will clean that up. And once I got it scraped, and use a little sandpaper to kind of clean it up with. So the next step is to attach this little lip ring on here like that. Now there's a couple ways I could do that. One, I could epoxy the whole thing and clamp it on there, but what I'm going to do is to put it on with some CA glue to tack it on there, and then when I epoxy it, it'll just bleed underneath there. So that's what my first step will be. A little spot I want to sand first. So what I'm doing here is just putting a little bit of CA glue on there to hold it. These little spring clips work really well for small jobs like this. Other thing you could use is a clothespin. Now that'll take about 5 minutes or so to get set up, and in the meantime we can get some epoxy mixed up. I did not use activator on this so that I had time to move it around. Activator is really not necessary unless you're really looking for an instant bond. All right, well, it's been about 5 minutes. Yeah, it's on there. Very secure. So what will happen is when I brush epoxy in here, from a capillary action, it'll blend underneath that ring. So I need to epoxy the edges here as well as the top, and also the underside of the ring here will need epoxy. And we've got a batch mixed up here. I always take my brush and I tap it on the side, and that way it gets just the right amount on there. So I get this underside first. mainly so I don't get it all over my arm. Dripped a little bit right here. Clean that up. While I'm right here with this batch, I'll go ahead and get the a fill coat on the combing here. And the remaining amount can go on the bottom side of my hatch cover here. You can see I elevated it so that if there are drips, they will hit this plastic. Those little hairs in there. Quite a few of them. I thought I had gotten them all out, but apparently not. Well, that's it for this episode. As always, thanks for watching. Now, if you're seeing this on Sunday, I'm actually going to be in the air flying out to Brooklyn, Maine, and I'll be teaching next week at the Wooden Boat School. I'm going to be teaching a class on lettering and leafing, and also we'll be talking about how to name your boat in that 1 week long class. So I will see you again in the next time when I come back from Brooklyn. In the meantime, remember, if you're going to make it beautiful.